All right. It's another day in the Ecosport. Another day in the Ecosport. Been driving this thing probably about 2 weeks. Let's go get a little bit of air conditioning going on up in here. Gotta put my foot on the brake. Does have push button start. Probably should have used a remote start. You probably be sitting on about 80 degrees right here in the middle of July. Alright, let me turn that off. Yeah, well, like I say, here with a little bit of Ecosport wisdom. Like I said, in this little series, I'm going to be talking more about the 4 agreements. Because there's a very great book. I've been passing it along. If you shoot me a quick link, you can get it free on Audible. I do have a link that I'm going to supply. But these 4 agreements, I mean, they're like life-changing. It really gets you to thinking. I think I went over agreement. I just kind of threw it out, but I'm going to start in order right now. The first agreement is be impeccable with your word. The second agreement is to don't take it personally. The third agreement is don't make assumptions. And the fourth agreement is always do your best. So there you have it. Number one, just being impeccable with your word. It ain't the biggest thing about that is going to be gossiping, talking about people. And it normally happens, when you don't have anything else to do. You hadn't had anything planned out, and the body wants to get in on some of that gossiping. So what I do as far as at my work, at my job, I want to make sure I stay out of the huddle. We call it a huddle up here. Try not to do a lot of gossiping, talking behind people's back. But also in my job, because I'm in sales, you got to keep your mind right. So not only do you not gossip and talk negative about other people, but you don't gossip and talk negative about yourself. You got to have positive self-talk. So a lot of times people can watch what they say about other people, but when it comes to talking about themselves or thinking about themselves, they're not really using positive words. So you got to tell yourself, make your list of the positive attributes you have about yourself, and like I say, watch that self-talk. Sometimes you may have to. This book, like I say, tells you how to watch that self-talk. Tells you how we've made some agreements, like putting on a ruck pack, so to speak, a backpack every morning, carrying 40 and 50 pounds around with you, and that saps your energy. But I'm going to try and go all day and be impeccable with my word, meaning that I'm not going to talk about anybody. I'm going to try to be positive when I'm talking to people and talking to myself. A lot of times we get into negative self-talk when we miss a deal, or when a deal doesn't, go quite the way we planned it. And it's not the client's fault. It's never the client's fault, even though we will talk negative and say, oh, the client is crazy. Man, they did this, they said this. But in actuality, if we really look at it, then maybe we didn't ask enough questions. Maybe we didn't dig a little bit deeper. Maybe we didn't do our best. Maybe we made some assumptions. All these 4 agreements go into every single deal. Every single decision we make every day includes these 4 agreements. Now, the gist of the whole book is, to keep in mind, we live in by 1,000 or 10,000 agreements that we try to keep up every day. And he is saying those 10,000 agreements can be condensed into these 4 agreements to make it simple. Less is more. I attend Faith Chapel Church out here in New Orleans, and my pastor once said that he did a sermon, which I'll give a link to that sermon, that less is more. And if we look at it, a lot of times we think more is more, but a lot of times more brings a lot of headache, a lot of pain. You're trying to keep things up, trying to maintain more. In actuality, if you had less, you can have a higher quality. One of my bosses up here, which is a good time friend, hired me. He's always telling me to go to fine restaurants. take your wife to a fine restaurants. And I'm thinking, man, I like going to the Golden Corral, man. I like that buffet. He say, man, but you got more, but it's less quality, and it's not as good for your body. You enjoy it, even though at the fancy restaurant you won't be able to eat as much, but it'll be a high quality, and you will enjoy it more. The whole experience, the whole ambience, the food, everything will be better, even though you're doing with less. So today, like I say, 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Let's just kind of watch what we say. One of the things I did like when in the 4 agreements, impeccable with your word, he said that if I'm talking to somebody and somebody eavesdrop on our conversation, they're not in the conversation, they're just eavesdropping, that what I say, what they hear, should make them happy. See? Now, that don't make sense. Hey, look, they wasn't even part of the conversation. But guess what? It should make them happy. And if I'm describing, and this is a bigger thing I have to work out, because sometimes we take our work home and we tell our wives and spouses about what went on at work today. And most of the time, the stuff that we unload on our spouses is negative, because we need somebody to vent to. But what we're actually doing is painting a negative picture of whoever we're talking about in our wife's mind. So when she meet this person, she's going to be like, oh, that's the guy you've been talking about. When it shouldn't be like that. When I talk to her about somebody else, I should be uplifting that person, so that when she sees them, she should be like, oh, it's nice to finally meet you. You're the guy that my husband's always talking about. Said you were fantastic. She should have a positive expectation with meeting that person. I know it sounds radical. We do the absolute opposite, but that's why we got to work in this area. Today's be impeccable with your word. And I'm going to check back with you on the next video, and we'll run through 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll come back through, because as I go through these videos every day or every other day, when I come back to impeccable with your word again, hopefully I've been gain some more knowledge and have some more insight, and I'll tell you how I kind of work things out. All right, see you later. Ecosport wisdom, baby.